Hi, I'm Jeff Schlemmer. I'm a lawyer and the executive director of the Community Legal Clinic of York Region. At the clinic, we help a lot of poor Ontarians, including ones who are facing eviction, including ones who might be facing eviction from their tents in parks. Now, people wonder who's responsible for getting housing for the homeless folks that we've seen so many of in the last few years. The answer is actually found in the Constitution of Canada. When the Fathers of Confederation got together, they divided up responsibilities between provinces and the federal government. And they decided that social programs and housing would be the responsibility of the provinces. The federal government is responsible for things like defense and whatnot. So it's pretty easy. The government responsible for finding housing for our homeless Ontarians is the provincial government. In Ontario, it's the government of Premier Doug Ford. Now, Doug Ford has had great success in the last 7 years as homelessness has gone through the roof in kind of sloughing it off onto municipalities, because municipalities are responsible for enforcing municipal bylaws, including bylaws in relation to parks. But they're not responsible for providing housing. Part of the reason is because they can't afford to, because under Ontario law, the Municipal Act, municipalities are only allowed to raise revenue through property taxes, which are not nearly enough to fund a social program like housing homeless folks. So there's no serious debate but that the Ontario government and Premier Ford are responsible for finding housing for Ontario's homeless people. Now, the best way that we've seen so far to do that is with tiny cabins, tiny cabin villages, which you can build for about $40,000 each, compared to about $500,000 to build a one-bedroom apartment of social housing nowadays. Fortunately, 9 municipalities in Ontario are piloting tiny cabin villages, even though they're not responsible for them. And the Association of Municipalities of Ontario has estimated that the Ontario government needs to commit about $11 billion to help house these folks. That may seem like a lot, but it's actually less than the cost that we're spending right now on all the things that homelessness is causing, like extra costs around policing, fire, first responders, shelters, you name it. And bear in mind that with a shelter, you don't get to live at a shelter. You stay there overnight, but during the day you're homeless. You're out wandering the streets. So when people ask who's responsible to house our homeless people in Ontario, the answer is very simple. Under the Canadian Constitution, it is Premier Doug Ford. And we're very hopeful that he's going to start to do that pretty soon. So far, he's allocated, I think, about $750 million instead of $11 billion. Well, that's not going to work. That means that homelessness will just keep getting worse. The good news is that most Ontarians want homeless folks to find homes. So if the Premier can recognize that, then he'll realize that actually finding housing for our homeless friends and family will be a popular political move, one that he should make as soon as possible. I'll see you on my next video.